right, let's get this started. Hi,
Hello, everyone. Hello.
hello
I'm
everyone.
so excited to be here again with the Sean, hang out, and talk about cool Java and Spring Boot features.
These are cool. Like here's the thing, we're gonna get into stuff that you can actually see, and that's like a big deal. I always I shy away from the front end stuff because I don't have the design skills or the patience. I like getting features done, but with JavaFX, I can do some cool stuff. I can make things happen, and I feel comfortable doing it. Right? Still, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing great, it's nothing to write home about, but it's stuff that I can show off, and that's always fun. And there's so much cool stuff that we can do.
Yeah, and you know what else is cool? You can create like basic, super simple stuff with JavaFX, and it works, and it looks okay, right? And it's just like almost a click of a finger. But you can also create more complex things, right? So you don't have to be rocket science to build a desktop application or an application for a better device, but you can also do that. So JavaFX can let you do everything you want. So from basic to super complex stuff, right?
So, how did you get here? How did you get into JavaFX? What was the thing that pulled you in? That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah,
JavaFX.
yeah, JavaFX and Spring Boot, right? So
Yes,
that matters. Yeah.
of
Um,
course.
yeah, so of course you can use JavaFX as is because it's pure Java, but I'll show you why you should actually couple it with the Spring Boot to get the most out of it.
I mean, that
So
sounds great.
yeah, I was so excited that I can actually do that. Well, of course you can because you can couple JavaFX with any Java API. Hi, Ian. And Spring Boot, of course, is part of the Java ecosystem, so it's a perfect match. So, how did I get into JavaFX? Well, I work for Bellsoft, as you already know, I guess. And Bellsoft tries to provide the most complete Java experience. It means that we develop and support a lot of products for Java developers to cover all their needs. And one of such products is Liberica JDK. And Liberica JDK has a special bundle called Liberica JDK Full, and it bundles JavaFX. So it means that if you know that. If you don't, so JavaFX has been a part of JDK for some time, right? But starting with Java 11, it was separated from the JDK, and now it evolves as a separate project. It's open source, right? And you can use it and do whatever you like. But to use JavaFX as a separate project, you need to integrate the dependencies, right, into your application. But if you use Liberica JDK, you don't need to do that, right? You're just pointing the Java, right, to the Java that you use for your project, and that's it. All the necessary JavaFX packages are already there. You don't have to add anything else or configure anything, and that's cool.
Fantastic.
Super
That's
convenient.
great. I like
Yeah.
that. That sounds fun. I'm pretty sure I'm still trying to find a project. Uh, where should we start?
Right. So let me just cover a couple of basics, I guess, for those developers who are just wondering why the hell should I use Java for desktop development? And
Well, what else are you going to use?
yeah,
What else are you going to use? I mean, if you're a
well,
Java developer, what else are you going to reach for if you want to do a desktop app? It just
yeah,
makes sense.
well, it makes sense, really. So, and I have heard that some people think that desktop development is not a very promising field, right? But um, yes and no. So there are still industries that need offline capabilities of an application, right, and responsive applications, such as, for instance, in healthcare, right? There are medical devices that need user interfaces, offline user interfaces, and you can do that with JavaFX. You can also you may also find more convenient to use if you use a messenger like Slack, for instance, right? You might find it more convenient to use it as a desktop application. Of course, it's coupled with the internet, so you still need internet connection, but it's a desktop app, and for me, it's more convenient because I have like millions of sites open in the browser, so I don't need Slack to be one more of them. You can also explore the world of Internet of Things, because JavaFX is perfect for embedded devices, right? You can use it with Raspberry Pis with the touch screen, right? And if Dashon finds his application that he wanted to show, then we can show it to you. But
Yeah, we'll find something.
you can do that, right? And you can also port the JavaFX application to mobile, and that's not rocket science. So in this case, you have your favorite Java, you have a web application, you can have a desktop application, and you have a mobile application, and runs on one stack on Java, right? Isn't that gorgeous?
That is gorgeous. I love that. I love everything about that. And I did not think about taking JavaFX to a mobile app. I know that's possible. I've seen it in the past, but I have not done it. And now my wheels are spinning. This is great.
Yeah, well, I was actually thinking about that, and I think that maybe uh, I want to do that out of curiosity at this stage, because the application that I currently work on, well, doesn't need a mobile version. So and as JavaFX supports media playback, video playback, and very rich graphics, you can build beautiful desktop applications, very responsive, right? It supports multi-touch, multi-threading, so it can give you something that simply pure Java can't give you, right? Or other maybe language, and that's great. I think that's great. And the application that I am working on currently, and that I'm going to show you, well, that's just the beginning, is the application for learning piano basics. Oh, more like a solfeggio stuff. So it can help you learn intervals, chords, scales. You can play well the required scale or chord in the application, and it will tell you whether you were wrong or right. Right? You can train intervals by ear, so it can play an interval or a chord, and you can try to guess. And the application reacts as well. It tracks your progress, and you can play the piano in the application, because it's going to be part of the UI, or you can connect your own device, like a MIDI piano, to use the real keys, right? And the whole thing is possible with JavaFX, right? And I'm super excited about this technology, and I'm really looking forward to finishing the project someday, so that I
Fantastic.
can share it, yeah, with everyone. Of course, it's going to be open source. I mean, like, really.
Of course. Of course.
No other choice. All right, yeah. So, but still, why Spring Boot, right? So we can continue talking about JavaFX, but why Spring Boot? I mean, we love Spring Boot, but why should we just push it into any application that we develop? Well, no, it's not like that. It's not the case. So JavaFX, as glorious as it is, still lacks some modern features like dependency injection, right, and being lifecycle management. And plus, you can connect to the database and work with the database, but again, in a pure Java style. And you remember that it's really well, it's not complicated, but it's cumbersome, right? You need to open the connection, then you need to close the connection, and all that stuff that we left in the past, thanks to Spring Boot,
Yep.
that does all the heavy lifting for us. That all you have to do that, right, with JavaFX. But if you integrate Spring Boot, then in this case, you will have like the best of the two worlds. You will have a responsive UI, beautiful UI that you can customize, right? And on the other hand, you will have a very solid backend architecture, and you will have a manageable, scalable, and testable application, right? So because the dependency injection that we can use, well, that reduces a lot of boilerplate code. Or, for instance, the event handling, right? So you can write the common event handling system for your application with Spring Boot, and that's going to be that's going to be clear. It's going to be clear code, manageable, again extensible, and reliable. So, and in this case, again, you can have both.
I love that they brought that up. Event driven, right? When I think of desktop apps, I think client server, and I think the protocols that we used. We were doing stuff on the wire. We were doing client server, connecting directly to a server, and yeah, it was kind of more message driven, I guess, than what we've been doing with the microservices architectures and everything's an HTTP call. Sometimes that latency is too much to handle, right? You brought up the medical use case. Latency is the new downtime for medical devices. If it's a fetal heart rate monitor, is the example I always throw out there. If it's something where milliseconds matter, yeah, you don't really want the extra latency of distributed system, microservice architecture, HTTP clients, and handling certs and those extra milliseconds, right? The built-in eventing system that we get with Spring, that's powerful.
Yeah.
And that can reduce a ton of overhead for some of these applications, and we're going to get into more. But you brought up some really, really good points.
Yeah. So, of course, JavaFX can handle events as well, but Spring does it in a more efficient way, in more manageable way, and that's what we like Spring and Spring Boot for, right? So a lot of the things that require code, right, are done by Spring Boot under the hood, right? So all the heavy lifting is done by the framework. Then so you can concentrate on the business logic and on the user interface in the case of a desktop application, if you really need a very beautiful user interface. And you can do that. So JavaFX supports CSS styling, right? So everything, all the controls are customizable. The most controls are provided out of the box, so different buttons, different containers, labels, so on and so forth, password fields. Well, it's always there, right? So you don't have to hard code it. And you can also use Scene Builder, I'm going to show you later today, to actually create the basic UI without coding, right? So it's kind of like a Figma. You put all the components together, right, in necessary order, necessary places, and that's it. Then you get an FXML file that I'm going to show you as well, right, that contains information about all these containers, and all you have to do is just bootstrap them to your controllers, and that's it. And
Fantastic.
that's powerful. And when JavaFX just started, it was all about coding, right? So you had to code the interface, you have to code it all, right? But now it's more convenient. So it became like that. So I just wanted to show you like a couple of examples before like digging into code. So just let me share my screen. Okay, so it's that. All right. Share, right? So that's the site of the OpenJFX project, right? And here are a couple of examples that will demonstrate the features of JavaFX and what you can do with them and what you can do with the framework.
Fantastic.
Right? Yeah, you can create the calendars, charts, like different visuals, forms, even games. You can write a game if you want to. Right. There's the Gleon Maps, the geolocation map framework that is based on JavaFX. Right. 3D visualization library, and there are also some projects that I found here. This one is from Carol Zeiss Meditech AG. So it's a medical program, right, that handles patients' data. Well, that's it, and many more, right? So if you you know about, well, of course, you know Gerrit Grunwald. He develops a lot of JavaFX applications.
Yes, indeed.
So yeah, he has built like marvelous stuff with JavaFX. So just check out his repo for inspiration. And yeah, so I'll just paste you a couple of links.
Okay.
So this one is for Liberica JDK. So if you want to get the package, you can also do that with the SDK man. So SDK man, get Java. Just let me just find these this command. So the FX packages are available there too. Just a second. Oh yeah, SDK install Fix Liberica. So this is the link for Liberica GDK 8, but of course you can take the latest Liberica. Or
Yeah. We shouldn't be using
yeah, yeah. It's
this.
just
And
the
that's not even the latest. We're at 80442.
right. I think it was from one of my previous articles that I have updated like
Got it.
some time ago.
Yeah,
But anyway, you get the concept, right? So
we get
SDK
it.
install, you can SDK list Java, right? Do SDK list Java, and then it just lists all the available Java versions. So this one just is an example. Of course, we shouldn't use Java 8, but the reason that it was actually in the article,
Educational purposes.
well, the problem is that for some companies, the problem is that Oracle doesn't ship Oracle Java 8 with FX anymore. So if there are enterprise applications that depend on Java 8 with FX, well, they either stay on Oracle and don't get any updates, which is not good, right? Or they can migrate to Liberica JDK, right? And the Liberica GDK builds with the FX are still supported and updated, so you can get them. Well, in case you use Java 8, of course. But going back to Spring Boot and JavaFX, so let me just get straight ahead and show you actually. Oh no, let me just paste one more link to the GitHub repo
Okay.
with my project. Again, as a warning, it's in the makings.
Oh,
So
that's okay. That's
it
okay.
has it integrates already Spring Boot and JavaFX. It has the database integration, the event handling system, right? So and some UI. But the most important thing, the piano, is not yet ready. So be patient if you really need that. Just one day I'll do that. So let me just again share my screen and right window. No, this one. Okay. Yep. Okay. So what I wanted to show you today, actually, mostly is how to pair JavaFX with Spring Boot and why you should do that. So I'm not going to show like super cool UIs because I still don't have any, and shown a couple of examples that you can explore. So, but after this live stream, I really hope that you will get inspired to try out JavaFX. Maybe you have a Raspberry Pi. Maybe you are a Raspberry Pi addict, right, Deshaun?
Yeah. I mean, it's not an acting. I don't have a problem. I can stop anytime I want to.
How many Raspberry Pis do you have?
104.
Ah,
104. That's the answer. That's how many we have.
mhm.
And we're in the process of kind of redeploying. I'm always in the process of redeploying these Raspberry Pis because there's always cool new stuff. Just yesterday, there's a new version of DeepSeek that now has function calling, and we can use it with Spring AI. So then, of course, we got to redeploy all the things. But this is cool. We're getting into Spring. Why Spring Boot? When I think of Spring Boot, I think of Spring Boot on the back end. Why would I want to blend these things? Well, I'll tell you why I do. Because Spring Boot's kind of my default, and because I do have Raspberry Pis. These Spring Boot doesn't just provide a a server, a way of running these things, but it's got the embedded Tomcat. But the things that I do are typically connected, right? So I want to have a server. I want to be able to connect different systems. If I'm doing a smart home, personal assistant, right? If I want to replicate the Google Home or the Alexa, I want these different machines in different rooms. I want them to be able to communicate with each other. So even though the interface might be small and on a 4-inch screen, I still want them to be able to communicate with each other. And if I don't have something like Spring Boot there, something with a Netty or a Tomcat there, then that's more work that I have to do. So for me, Maven W Spring Boot Run is a great interface. Also,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's a great development experience. So I
Mm-hmm.
get all these great things. I get to be on the release train, and it's nice. But I can still have the beautiful UI, and I can make things happy. Like, I'll be honest, the thing that's really interesting to me is right now we're using StreamYard. StreamYard is a browser based video streaming platform, and there's other tools. Right? There are open broadcasting, OBC. There's a bunch of these tools where I can have a bunch of cameras and I can have overlays and I can do all these cool things. But it takes this other bit of software. StreamYard makes it so I can basically do live streaming. I can invite anybody that has a browser. I can invite them in, but I lack all of the cool interface type things that a lot of my other streaming community friends get to do. But with JavaFX, I can bring in some of these interesting overlays. I can bring in some of these interesting things. And just like we're sharing a screen now, I can have overlays. I can do interesting things on top of what we're doing. And that's nice. That's really exciting for me. And that's a thread that I'm on. And we'll get back to that in a little bit. But this is a fun space. I have a server. I have a nice development experience that I'm comfortable with. I already have tons of years working this way, but now I can kind of add this really cool interface on top.
Yeah, that's cool. That's just fabulous. I mean, really, and that's our favorite Java, and that's Spring Boot. You can do anything with them, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Right. Okay, so yeah, so you can see my screen now, and let me just give a quick spin to the application so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Um, right, just a sec. I think I should present okay, just a sec. Present the whole screen first, right? Share screen. Um, the screen. Okay, share. All right. You can see the ID, right?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. All right. So let's just run the application quickly. Right. So, well, first of all, that's our login page. You can, of course, integrate Spring Security, right? And you can offer the user to enter the password with a login, right, or to register. But for my purposes, simple login was enough. Although I might integrate it just to have it, right? So I have already signed in, but you can sign up if you're a new user, and the dashboard for you is going to be open, right, for with your settings. In this case, it's just me, hello cat, right, and we have some buttons like home button, full screen button, exit button, settings button. Right. As far as the functionality is concerned, I have already created the scales generator. It's not yet connected to the piano, or it doesn't make any sounds because I spent like a lot of time trying to calculate how to make the program build scales and charts based on the circle fifth, and yeah, that's the heavy lifting backend stuff, right? So, but anyway, you can get scale, right? If you want to practice scale, it gives you a random scale. If you forgot the notes, you can click on show notes, and it's going to give you the scale for all possible scales, right? So it's major, so it's just natural major, harmonic major, and melodic major. with all the sharps and flats if necessary, right? And the size of the text is dynamically changed, right? So and if you do the full screen, it's going to be bigger as well. And yeah, so that's what I have now. And um, right. Not much, right? So you might be asking, why did you come here today to show us just some simple stuff? Well, yeah, that's just the beginning. Yeah. But as simple as it looks, it has a very nice, well, as I see it, very nice architecture. And just let's dig right in, right? So to pair Spring Boot and JavaFX, well, what you first need is well, JavaFX and Spring Boot, right? But if you use the JDK within FX bundle, then in the case of JavaFX, you're covered, right? All the packages, all the necessary packages are there. In case of Spring Boot, well, you just add, right, the necessary dependency for Spring Boot and all the other dependencies that you need. So what do I have here? I have Spring Boot test, command lang. I need that for some calculations, I guess. Then SQLite, GDBC.
Can I move your screen? I want to try to. I'm going to try to look as you're doing. I want to compare and see that we're doing things similar. So I'm going to be looking at weird places because I'm going to look at your project and I'm comparing. Can you go back to the top of your dependencies?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
So
fantastic. So
so
everything okay? Mine looks like yours. It's like I'm checking my work. Like, did I do it like Kat did? Because if I did it like Kat did, I'm feeling good. All right.
you're too confident in me. Right. Okay. Right. So yeah, we have the parent, right? Spring Boot
Mhm.
parent.
Oh,
Then we
there's
have
one problem with that.
yeah.
Scroll up a little bit. Yeah, on line 8. Yeah, there should be 3.4.4. Yeah, that's one thing. I'm just helping out where I can. Helping out where I can.
Yep.
All
And
right.
you are absolutely right. Yeah. Because why? Because I have to check my dependencies more often and update
Yeah.
them. Yeah. All right. So Java version I have chosen 21. So we are now at 24, but usually if it's a long-term project that I
Yep.
work on, I prefer the LTS version because it's like the most stable and yeah, most predictable. So in this case, 21.
Okay.
Mm.
In my project, I brought in the org OpenJFX, JavaFX base, and JavaFX controls, but I didn't need to do that
Yeah.
because I'm using the Liberica's FX version. So do I need to do those?
No, if you're using Liberica FX, you don't need these dependencies at all.
Well, you know what that means I can do is I can comment out all of these dependencies. And again, I'm just working next to you. I'm going to comment all these dependencies because yeah, that's just one less thing that I have to like maintain on my own in my project. So I'm going to comment that out. I'm going to see that my project still works, and this is great. Let's keep going. You brought in SQLite. That's your
SQLite.
database.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's the database. So you can actually use any database that you want.
Of
But
course.
in the case of desktop applications, I think the embedded database is a very good choice. So we have the choice between H2 and SQLite, and SQLite um, is my preferred choice because. It is just tailored to embedded devices, to desktop applications, so it's really really cool. Check it out. So maybe you may also like that. Right. So and I paired it with my project. Okay. Then we have JPA, string data JPA, because well, just because because
Yeah.
I wanted to do it programmatically. I didn't want to think too much on entities, and I don't need to hear complex JDBC stuff. Well, at least not yet, right? So what I have is I will have a user, right, and I will have the node as a class with some information on the sounds, right? So I will have to bootstrap the sounds too, but that's it, right? So no complex stuff in this case. So JPA is quite enough for me. Right. Hibernate community dialects. This is for SQLite. because there's no out-of-the-box support for SQLite with Hibernate, right? So you have to do like a couple of additional movements, so to say, to make it work, but nothing too complicated, right? So validation. So I think I'm not quite sure whether I need that. I was just experimenting, and I'm going to show you later what I was experimenting with. So maybe I really don't need validation in this case. We'll see. And then yeah, the plugins. So there's the Maven compiler plugin and Spring Boot Maven plugin to build a fat jar, right? To be able to run the application as a jar file. But my goal is to actually bundle it with native image, and to release native images, the application as a native image. Because, well, there are several reasons. So first, if you create a native image, you don't need the JDK to run it. Yeah, so it's just an executable file for an operating system like macOS, Windows, or Linux. So it's just like any other program that you are used to. And a native image starts really fast, like in less than a second. And in the case of the desktop application, the fastest is starts, well, the better. Well, in the case of any application, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Who
the
has
fastest,
time?
of course. Right, right.
Nobody's got all that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think we are all used to, if we use desktop applications, we are all used to them starting up like that.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you will see this weird loading sign GIF, you will get annoyed at some point, I think. So native image is the perfect combination with this duo, so they form a trio. And you know what? The good news is that for to build a native image for a JavaFX application, you you need you, all you need is Liberica Native Image Kit, which is based on GraalVM Community Edition. Uh, Liberica Native Image Kit bundles also with FX, so you don't have to do any huffing and puffing, right? So just like in the case of Liberica GDK, you build a native image in a, well, almost regular way, right? And then you don't have to care about adding the dependencies for JavaFX or somehow pointing the native image to them, right? Because Liberica Native Image Kit with FX already knows what to do, right? It knows its stuff, and that's
There's a
great.
question here
Yeah.
about, hey, you're using SQLite. Like, hey, can you walk it through? I don't think we need to walk through. I'm gonna just repaste the link to the project here, and yeah, and we'll go from there. So I just repasted the link. You can go get the code, and you can have
Yeah.
a working example. Today we're talking about JavaFX.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here. And for everybody that's here, if you're in the chat, like, ask your questions. We might not address all of them, but ask them. And my mom and dad always watch. So when you're here, if you want to say hi, let us know where you're joining from, because that's really, that'll make my mom and dad smile.
Yeah, so any question, we'll be happy to answer that, right? And yeah, you can explore the repo. All the code is there, right? So copy and paste, and yeah. Okay, so that's about it. My dependencies, but I think there are going to be more as I progress with the application. But for starters, that's enough.
Good shape.
So
This is great.
yeah,
It looks familiar.
yeah,
Like, there's
yeah.
nothing that's jumping out, and they're like, oh, like, what did you do there? No, this looks.
Yeah, so that's our like regular pom.xml, right? With the regular dependencies, and yeah, nothing that we can't handle, right? So all the familiar stuff. All right, so how do you actually couple JavaFX and Spring Boot? Because there are kind of two, well, not two different worlds, but they are different, right? They're different things. So JavaFX is all about desktop apps, and Spring Boot is well, it's very versatile, but we mainly use it for web applications, right? Well, not only, but mainly. So what you need to do is to make Spring Boot and JavaFX aware of each other and make them work together. Right, so we have, because of that, we have here two classes that serve as the main classes of the application. So the first class is main, like it's main. Yeah, it's annotated with the Spring Boot application. And here, what we do in the public static void main, we use the application JavaFX class called application and its method launch. And we are launching the music theory effects application, right, with its arguments. And this is our second main class. And this one is, imports, some unnecessary imports. And this one is mostly about building the stage of your desktop application, right? So Spring Boot already knows that it has to launch, right, another class. So that's going to be the entry point, the second entry point, so to say. And what do we have here? That's very JavaFX, right? So that's the main class of the application that extends application, JavaFX application, and some of the imported methods like init, stop, and start, right? And we have here the stage. The stage is the main node of JavaFX application. So the JavaFX application is kind of like an HTML DOM, right? So there are nodes that have children nodes, right? And that's the graph that we have. No tree. So stage is our boss, so to say, right? So it's in the hat somewhere on the top. And yeah, here we also have application context and the stage manager, which is the custom class that I've built, and I'll show you like in a couple of minutes. So, but this is Spring Boot stuff, right? So, and in the init method, we initialize the application context, right? And we're creating the Spring application builder, right? And we're pointing to the main class and say run. So that's where the magic happens, right? So we have kind of like two main classes, right? And they are aware of each other. Well, Spring Boot is aware that there are two classes, right? And they are coupled, tightly coupled. So in this case, we run the main class and yeah, get all the Spring Boot and JavaFX magic. And then there is the stop. That means that we're closing the context and closing the stage, so basically closing the application. But then there's the start, right? The start method. Here we are setting our stage, and we are getting the bean. So the stage manager is a very, very necessary bean in this application, very important bean, very fat and important bean. That manages all the stage and all the scenes of our application. So the scene is the window that you actually see, right? So the one that I showed you. And there are different scenes, right? So you click the button, then another window opens. That's another scene, right? And so on. So, but we have one stage also, right? So there's the one stage and many scenes. So we are getting this very, very, very important bean, stage manager, and then we are going back to the next method, to the show login scene, right? So our homepage, right? Whatever is your starting point of the application, right? Whatever you want to show.
Roddy has two questions here.
Yeah.
First, he says, "Why aren't you using Gradle?"
Well, why not Maven?
Why not? I'll tell you why I like Maven. I like the schema. If you go to my GitHub, you will see that I've got a bunch of GitHub orgs, and I've got 500 or so Java Spring Boot projects. And when I'm switching between those projects, I like to have some consistency. And by having a schema across all of those projects, if I decide that I want to add a plugin to all my projects, maybe it's a JavaFX plugin, I have a schema and I know where to add it. I know how to add it, and I know I'll have some consistency on how it gets applied. And I don't get that with Gradle. Gradle's DSL, it makes things a little bit more difficult for me to manage programmatically. So that's why I lean into Maven.
Yeah. So,
Just
and and I use Maven because for me, well, some people think that it's more verbose, and maybe it is, but for me, well, Java is verbose, right? But it's just more clear, right? You can see where everything is going, where everything is put. So Maven for me is like preferred choice.
there's another question here. He says, is it possible to AOT compile Swing or FX desktop apps?
Yes, yes, exactly, and that's what I was talking about. So you go get the Liberica native image kit full, right, for
Yep.
your platform. It bundles effects, right, and you can build the native image application with JavaFX. And what also wanted to show you, there's another link. Oh, the day of links today.
Yes.
So there's an article that I wrote recently.
I'll pull that
It's
up.
about building native images out of JavaFX applications. Detailed article with code, and you can check this out too.
Fantastic.
For this one,
Link
yeah.
shared.
So yeah, there I just describe how to build a native image locally on your local machine or with GitHub Actions,
All
which is
right.
the preferred choice if you want to build native images for different platforms, right? And you can do that with GitHub Actions and a Liberican native image kit that is there. There's the GitHub action for native image kit with effects. So you are covered. You
Covered.
are covered from all sides. Yeah. So going back, right? So we got our super important bean stage manager, and we are giving it the rule in the next method. And from now on, it's going to be directing the scene management, right? So let's go and look at this very important bean. But first, so here's the config folder or directory. There's this stage manager. It's annotated with a component, right? So it's very important to add necessary annotations, Spring annotations, right? So that it is aware of the beans that are in the application. It's that, and that it's aware of the fact that there are beans in the application, right? So we have several components, and I'll show you later that the controller is actually also a component, right? So it's not the usual controller that we have with the Spring Boot, right? Because it's not a web application. So for Spring, it's just a bean. Yeah. For JavaFX, it's a controller, but for Spring, it's a bean. So it's important. So application configuration, right? So it's annotated with configuration, obviously, right? And we have here some, well, not essential stuff like application title if you want to have a title for your application. There's the event publisher. That's important. That's for event management system that I'm going to show you today too, right? So we are creating the event publisher right at the beginning, at the when the application starts, and then this event publisher, the Spring's event publisher, manages the events in the application, right, and passes them on to the listeners, to the event listeners. So, and then there's the FXML loader. So I promised to show you the FXML, what it is. It's a very convenient stuff. So it enables you to separate the UI, the front end, from the back end, right? So you don't have uh, to code the UI in the application, right? You don't have to do it manually. So XML file basically looks like XML file. Well, it is. And the most beautiful thing is that I didn't write it myself. I didn't have to, and you don't have to. So all you do is you use a scene builder. You get it from the OpenJFX site. Website is totally free, right? Open source. And this scene builder enables you to create the layout for your user interface, right? So we have here the hierarchy, right? So there's our main container, the split pane. There's also labels that contain some text. There's the grid pane with the 4 huge buttons, and then there's the toolbar. It's another XML file that you can include into the UI, and that is very convenient. It helps you to reuse components, right? So, for instance, this toolbar is actually required for all my scenes, right? It's there, it's always there. So, and so as not to code it every time anew, I just created a toolbar, right? And then I just add it to every scene that I have, and the code is reused, which is wonderful.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So you basically let me just show you. So you basically drag all the necessary components, like you have containers. Is well the main scene, right? So
Now I
maybe
don't see your scene builder.
oops, sorry. And I've been showing you.
I've
Gosh.
been seeing the XML, but I haven't seen the scene builder. That's okay. That's okay.
And I've been explaining the stuff that I have already shown in Scene Builder, and I think, oh my god, uh, sorry, I'm just okay. Uh, right. Let me just share the entire screen and yeah, be very cool about that. Okay, so going back, so can you see my Scene Builder now?
And yep, there we go.
Okay, yeah. So it is the homepage. So as I was just saying, there are containers, controls. There are lots of out-of-the-box controls like buttons, checkboxes, combo boxes, images, lists, menu bars, and so on and so forth. Lots of them. So basically, um, all you need to build a full-featured application. And if you need a custom control, well, you can build that too, right? So it is of course possible, but in most cases, like maybe 95% of cases, you these controls will be enough.
I'm a little blushing. I'm a little humbled here. Luke Shannon's in the house. Luke Shannon's saying, "Hey, this is amazing. Such clear explanation of the framework. Do you have an article or reference?" I'm gonna
Oh,
repost one of these links
yes,
in. Big fan of Luke
thank
Shannon
you.
over here. Thank you for being here. But yeah, we pasted some articles. Here's an article that has links to the others, so we can do these as native
Yeah,
images.
lots of code, lots of tutorials, all that we love, basically. Yeah. So as I was saying, right, so we have here the container, the main container, and you just basically put all the controls that you need, and then you save it, and this fxml file is generated automatically, right? So you don't have to write it, and that's just, I think that's just awesome, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, as I was saying, so this bar, right, toolbar, I reuse it across all the scenes that I have, and in this case, I don't have to like code it every time anew. Yeah, so that's also very convenient. So scene builder was really easy to use. You just simply just let me show you.
Now
Drag.
in IntelliJ, isn't there also a plugin
Yeah,
that
there
gives you the
is.
scene builder inside of
There is,
IntelliJ?
yes. So you can use the IntelliJ IDEA plugin for Scene Builder. I'm just used to the separate application,
Got it.
kind of feel like, yeah, with that. But you can do that with IntelliJ as well. So it's going to be one window for everything, right? So
Fantastic.
yeah. So you just kind of drag all the necessary controls here, and then you can just customize them. You can customize the layout, the size, the
That's
stuff.
exactly what I need.
Yeah,
Because I can't explain where I want things. Sometimes I just need to move things around. I like this drag and drop interface.
yeah, that's great. That's just well, takes away the headache of actually coding the basics, right? So
Yep.
with the CSS, you can polish it up, right, to make it beautiful. But with Scene Builder, you can just lay down the foundation,
Yeah.
right? So the and then the code sections are important. So you can tie the front end to the back end with this code section. So you just basically for every node you put the fx id, right, and maybe some actions. So if there is some action detected. And this is going to be the method in the controller, right? So for instance,
Oops.
I have here like the pane and just a sec. Um, the practice scales button, right? So and yeah, where it is, yeah. So I have a fx id, that's the scales button, yeah. And on action there's the method switch to scales scene, and the controller for this whole scene is a home controller. So if we go back to the IDE, we have this home controller, right? That's it implements initializable, so that's JavaFX stuff. As we remember, it's annotated with a component because it's Spring Bean, not a controller, right? Then here we have a list of all the nodes in my scene. So there's a zero member theory button, scales button, chores button, there's the label, the picture, and they are all annotated with fxml. And here is our method, also annotated with fxml, switch to scale scene. And you do the stuff here, or basically business logic goes here, right? But this is how we couple the front end with the back end, right? So the application, when you start the application, the XML file will be detected and it will be linked to the controller specified in this file, and it will find all the necessary controls and methods that you specified. So that's super convenient.
Fantastic. There was a question that I was. The question here is why do you inject the application context first and then get the bean from it? Why don't you inject the bean directly, then getting it from the application context if it's not a prototype bean? There are a bunch of ways that we can approach this, right? We have an application context from the JavaFX, from the UI side. And then because we're integrating with Spring Boot, we also have this application context from Spring Boot. And it kind of depends on where you want to play and how you want to interface with that. So you have options, right? You're not tied to one way or another. And as I was looking at your code, Kat, I was comparing it to mine. And in my example, I'm kind of saying, hey, I want to play primarily in the Spring Boot context, the application context that I get from Spring. But that might not always be the case. You have flexibility, and you're going to find, just like we do with a lot of front ends, you're going to find that you've got strategy, you've got patterns that you're going to use. And yeah, there's not a right way or a wrong way. You have all the flexibility to do this however you want to. So that was the first thing I wanted to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the bean is injected afterwards, and because it needs the stage object. So if you look at the application config, right? So that's our stage manager, the bean in the config, and it's also annotated with lazy. And that's important, right? Because we need to pass a stage to it. So first we need to create a stage, and then we are getting the bean of stage manager with the stage already created, or else we're getting the exception and the application won't start. So this bean is then initialized, and we are getting it right with all the necessary stuff that we'll also need. So there's the event publisher, application title, stage that we created previously in the main method, and the XML loader. So FXML loader is another class that is responsible for FXML parsing, right? So usually if you have the JavaFX application and well, maybe not so many windows there, you can use the FXML loader in the main method, right? And it's going to be created every time that you call another stage. And this XML loader, well, its main function is to call is to find the FXML file, right, and load it. So you get the resource. Oops, sorry. You get the resource and you load it, and that's what it does. Yeah. So and in this case of this application, it was essential for me to build a very unified system where everything just works. And if I add another page or another 100 of pages, I won't have to refactor my code. So is all these pages, all these new XML files that I will have are going to be loaded and parsed automatically, right? Because of that. So and then there is the so yeah, we have this stage. Yeah, where was I? Application config, right? So I described everything here, and then we are going actually to the stage manager. So that's our super important bean that manages the stage and the scenes, right? And we have here the XML loader, the stage, right, that we created in the main method, all the fields that we have from the config. And here, what we do is we load the scenes, right? And as you remember, if you remember. So in our main theory FX application, we had this method show login scene, and we passed FXML view to the stage manager, and we told it to switch the scene, right? To actually build a scene. So what is this FXML view? It's another component that I needed that makes the application more scalable and maintainable. So this FXML view is actually the container for all the XML files that I have, right? So there's the login page, home page, scales and theory currently, but every time I add another page, I just add it here, and I specify the path to this page, and that's it, right? So that's what our XML view does. And so when the stage manager gets the XML view and the required field, right? It already knows. It can, and again, it can extract the path to the file and give it to the FXML loader, right? So, for instance, what we have here, switch scene. We have a primary stage, right? So in this case, that's not exactly required. That's just what I wanted, to set the minimum width and the height so that you wouldn't be able to just create a micro scene, something like that. So that's just the minimum size. And well, the title, again, it's not necessary. It's just something for the beauty reasons, right? Um,
Luke
here,
has a question here.
yeah.
He says, and this is just going back a step. Where did you get the scene builder? Did you create the FXML files entirely from scratch in the scene builder?
Yeah, so the FXML files, I didn't change anything in the FXML files. I don't do anything with them. So if I need a page,
But
I
you
go
created
to,
them over here in the scene builder app.
yeah, yeah. And then you save it, and it is automatically saved, and the FXML file is automatically created. So that's it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you add it to your resources, and then you load it in the application, right? And get all the necessary components from there, right? Programmatically in a way. So, right, switch scene. We're getting the parent node. So the parent node is the main node of our scene. In this case, it's if you look at the hierarchy, it's this split pane. Yeah. So it's on the top, means that this it's our like most fundamental node, right? The parent node of our scene in this case. But it doesn't actually have to be the split pane. It can be the anchor pane. It can be just the pane. And, there are lots of containers, right? So it can be any kind of pane. But the beauty of it here is that we don't have to, the application doesn't have to know about that, right? So we are letting the parent, and this parent is the class, the abstract class for any parent node that we might have, right? And so we are loading the root node from the FXML file that we extracted from the FXML view. And right, we are loading it here. So this load method, it's not my method. It's the default method of FXML loader. So XML loader load, and then you specify the path to the FXML file, and it already has, it extracts, right, the root node. right? So the return statement of this method is to get the parent node. Yeah, so here it is. No, sorry, that was mine. My that was my file. Uh, yeah, but the wait, yeah. So there's the load file of. So there's the load method of fxml loader of JavaFX, right? And we are returning here something, right, that it got from the file. And then I just customized the load method to get the parent node.
That's fantastic. Now, one of the things that you showed earlier is you showed all these beautiful graphic interfaces.
Uh-huh.
JavaFX isn't just about buttons and boxes and panes and input. The types of interfaces that we can create are, yeah, they're left up to the imagination. You also mentioned we can create games, right?
Yeah.
So the tools that we get with JavaFX are not just for these kind of UI. Form building applications that we want to be used to. The types of things that we can build are endless, and we don't always have to use FXML, right? There's some of these things that we can't describe with XML, right? We want these dynamic interfaces. I'm going to pivot for just a sec, and I'm going to pull up my application, I think, and I'm going to show like, hey, I had this application doing a lot of the same things. Let's go to my Spring Boot application. I'm then using JavaFX to launch this JavaFX app, which was where I get the UI pieces. But what I'm doing, I started with XML, but then I realized that that's not what I wanted. So I'm gonna restart this little app here. And what this does, again, this is my kind of UI where there is no FXML. My UI is taking these nodes, and these nodes are Tailscale nodes. They're connected to this Tailscale network that I'm going to be operating in here. And then I have a little piece here in my listener. This says, hey, I want to, where is it? I want to apply some forces. I want my UI to be dynamic. So I've got this little function that gives everything kind of a gravity and an anti-gravity. So the nodes in my UI are going to space themselves automatically. And it's going to look different every time depending on the number of nodes. So let's now run this Spring Boot app, Spring Boot run. It's going to go do the things. And what it's doing to initialize, it's going to go and grab all of these nodes. And I show it over here. I gave it a transparent UI. And you might not be able to see it, but these are little, the names of devices that are on this Tailscale network. So I've got PoE00S2. I've got Geek Pi 01. A lot of these are Raspberry Pis. But it gives me this dynamic interface. So they've all kind of spaced themselves out, no FXML needed, to give me this really cool interface. And it's transparent. Remember, I talked about I wanted to do these things so I could lay them on top of my stream in here in StreamYard. So this is something that doesn't have a border around it. I gave it a size of 800 by 600 so it'd fit in the screen. But now I have this really cool interface that I can bring on and I can turn off. And that's kind of slick.
Yeah.
So this is just another example of the types of interfaces that we're building. We have the nice application context that we can use. This is reaching out. There was a client server piece involved here, but the user interface, and this is just showing, the green is showing me that all these nodes are healthy. They're on the latest version of the Tailscale client. So fantastic. That's all.
Great.
That's all I wanted to
Yeah,
show.
that's fabulous. Yeah. So yeah, as you can see, you can create anything with Spring Boot. So yeah, FXML is just the part of the game, and you don't have to use it, right? So you can create your own UI with your own hands, and you can also use the Canvas API. So the Canvas API is a very cool thing, very cool feature of JavaFX. It lets you draw your own component, right? So like it's kind of a pixel perfect drawing, right? And you can go. So if I show you just what I started doing with the canvas, share screen. So Here I have the keyboard builder.
I don't see your screen yet.
Up, just a sec. About no. Okay, let's just do it one more time. Entire screen share. Yep. No. Yeah.
There we
Okay.
go.
Great. So yeah, I have here the keyboard builder. Again, that's the component, right? Because we love the dependency injection on Spring Boot. And here I'm drawing. I'm using the canvas, and I'm drawing the keyboard. Well, at least right now I'm trying to. So of course it will take some time, but I already have something. Just a sec. Cat. Uh, so what I have here
Fantastic.
is, well, yeah, it's just don't don't be horrified. It's the beginning, but in the end, each of these keys is going to be responsive, right? So you will be able to with the keyboard or with the mouse, you will be able to push every key and extract the sound from it, right? And that's what canvas lets us do. So you draw a perfect component that you need, and then you fill it up with the functions that you need. Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
that's amazing. I think that's just really cool. And yeah, I have just started, so it's not that easy, but still there's something to do. All right. Yeah,
This
and
is
of
fun.
course, yeah. And there's going to be the theory part where the application is going to explain to you how to build the scales, how they are actually built. And you will see that each node is going to be pushed in the application, so or lighted. Well, there's going to be like change of color or something, and you will see, you will hear the sound. So it's a very interesting, I think, um, solution, JavaFX, I mean, for educational applications, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, when you need something interactive, and with educational stuff, that's, well, always should be interactive, or else it's just boring and you don't learn anything and you just give it up. But in this case, it doesn't have to be the piano. It can be anything that you want to teach to somebody, like a language maybe. So
Well, you're
the
bringing up MIDI. My
yeah.
my head again is it's racing at all the possibilities. Jonathan Ivanov has a really cool presentation where he's talking about observability and how you can have errors in your system that actually trigger MIDI sounds. Right, this is stuff that we get out of Java. So you could be listening to your application and how it's behaving. If you hear, a funky bass line, that might be something going wrong with your application. And this is it's a really cool demo. But now with JavaFX, I want to add this concept of I could actually see it. When we talk about observability, I can have system events. I can have system state be represented visually as like a side by side, a standalone, a stand next to my application, so I can get true visual visibility of what's happening in my system, and I can represent it in really interesting ways.
Yeah, exactly. So you, for instance, we have here like the event publisher and event management system. So in this case, we have the event called scene resize event. So we have attached it to the scene with property. So every time the scene is resized, right, the event publisher is going to publish this event, and this event publisher is the Spring Boot feature, right? And we have these events, yeah. So and you can attach the listeners, right, in other classes. And these events, they can be like anything. They can pass data from one
Mm-hmm.
class to another, and you don't have to create more beans, or you don't have to create some more additional methods to pass the data. It can be passed through the event. Yeah, so user types something in, and then yeah, you can do anything with that. You can save it to the database, you can make a sound, you can draw a picture, whatever, right? So
Yep.
whatever you want your application to respond with, and that is cool. So if we look at this scene resize event, listener, just a sec, it's in the home controller maybe, or the toolbar controller. Just a sec. Oh no, it's in the home controller, I think. Oh yeah, here it is, right? So handle. Oh no, this is login event. Okay, where's the scene resize event? Okay, just a sec. Just a sec. I will remember that.
That's
Yeah,
okay. It
that's
happens.
okay. Yeah, yeah. So where is it handled? Oh my god, I forgot. It is. That's kind of embarrassing,
That's okay.
but
It's
okay.
okay. We have gone a little bit over time. I have another thing that I got to get prepared for.
Oh yeah. But basically, I guess we discussed everything that we wanted to, right? And if you want to explore this application further, you can just
Yeah,
pull the repo and push the buttons,
I'm gonna put the
and
repo back
yeah.
up there, and I'll throw that repo. And I think I could throw my repo up there too. Spring Boot JavaFX, I think. Yeah, I'll put mine up there as well. So we've got a couple examples here for you to take a look at, because we want you to, and we would love your feedback. We want to hear how things are going.
Yeah, I think we will have more live streams on JavaFX and Spring Boot definitely in the future. So if thank you, Luke. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
You're wonderful.
this
You're
is
the
fun
best.
stuff. This is has really been wonderful, and I wish that I had more time today,
Yeah, yeah,
because I feel like we were just kind of getting started. We were just scratching the surface. But yeah, maybe we should revisit this JavaFX and see what we can do.
yeah.
But
Sometime
this
in
has
the
been fun.
future, with more complex UI stuff and
Yeah,
interesting stuff. So yeah, yeah.
run it on the Raspberry Pi, right? I have an example. Again, with the small interfaces. Again, you mentioned touchscreen. What we didn't have to do, what you didn't have to see is I didn't have to install a browser on anything.
Mhm.
I can run these applications on all sorts of devices, and that's powerful.
I
So
really
this is
need
fun.
to buy a Raspberry Pi. Really, you inspire me. You inspire me to
It's
do
fun.
that. To get me myself a Raspberry Pi and stuff, and do stuff. The
Yeah,
smartphone, great
it's
smartphone. Oh my god.
it's it's a small interface. It's a low barrier that you can buy these devices, and you can, yeah, you can leverage them without a big investment. And the amount of reuse, right? I've got these devices that I've had for 10 years that I'm still having tons of fun with and still doing really interesting things with. So yeah, I highly recommend get yourself one. They're fun to play with. And if nothing else, it's just another environment. It's another place for you to deploy interesting things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So that's exciting. That's very exciting to be
Oh,
talking about. Yep.
and there's a comment. Hey, next time, please show us how we would make use of aspecting AOP next time. Of course, like we're doing it. We're using Spring Boot. All of
Sure.
our annotations. We're doing things all over the place. But yeah, we could
Yeah.
probably dig in and explain what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is good. This was fun. Kat, as always, always a pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, everybody. Thanks for joining. And I'd say in about 2 weeks' time, yeah, come and join us again, and we'll have the next session.
Yeah.
And
So
until then,
pleasure. The pleasure is mine, Sean. So I'm happy as usual to be here. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone. Thank you folks for watching us. So
wonderful.
that's great. Until next time.
Until next time. All right. Thanks, everybody.